it's Guido coming at you with another replay analysis. We'll continue along the vein of taking a look at some replays in medium tanks. Today we've got Eric, and he is in his T-43, driving with me in my T-34-1. We're on Ensk, and we are mid-tier in this one, Tier 7 mediums. Medium gameplay can be tricky in this game. You can basically go help the heavies, or you can go to the medium area. Sometimes you can even flex to light tank kind of roles. The point of the medium tank is it is a jack of all trades, master of none, although it is a master of being a mobile tank, to be quite honest. Ensk, encounter battle, what do? You go over to the admittedly sort of smallish field over on the east side and do medium tank things, because that's where medium tanks go. Or do you maybe hang out in the middle, look for a flexible move to either side that has its own problems? Or do you go over to the heavy side, which is in the city typically on this map, and try to help the heavies with the brawl? I go both ways, so to speak. Sometimes I'll go in there and I'll help the heavies over in the heavy brawl. It is situational to some extent. Oftentimes I will go over and I'll work in this kind of built-up area over here on the east side of the train tracks. I wouldn't go out in the field in a medium necessarily, but those are your two main choices. Or maybe work the middle and look to flex. The problem with the middle and looking to flex is you can get trapped here if they've got vision down these lanes here, and it can be hard to move across the tracks without getting shot in the side. So as we're discussing this with Eric, or I'm discussing this plan with Eric, I say, hey, let's go over and help out the heavies. Let's go over and help out the heavies. Now there's a major problem with this idea, and I completely missed it in my pre-match analysis. So now that I've said that, some of you may have already seen it. Now take a look at where we're going, and what I want you to do is cue in over here on the enemies list. What do they have? We both have a heavy. That's fine. We both have a medium, but our medium is kind of light-skinned. And then look at the TDs. I completely missed that. They have 2 assault TDs, and we have 2 glass cannons. Just let that one sink in. Had I noticed that, I would not have made this particular move. The other problem with this particular move is our heavy did not come over here. The VK sort of just rages forward into the east side of the tracks over there, guys. So once I noticed that, and it took me a while to notice it, somewhere around hither, I realized we'd kind of screwed ourselves. So instead of moving north into the square up there, I'm going to say, look, we're going to have to hang back. I sort of messed up. This was a bad call, and you're going to make bad calls like that in this game. You're going to make a decision, and it's going to be the wrong one for lots of different reasons. Either you analyzed it incorrectly, or the team didn't go where you thought it was going to go, or you weren't paying attention, or a combination of all the above plus other things. The question becomes then, what do you do with that? Well, the best thing we can do is turtle. We got a Hellcat, a 150, the Scorpion is behind us, myself, and Eric. And all of a sudden you can see the WZ is sort of in the middle. I'm like, okay, yep, that's not great. We don't know where the TS5 is. We don't know where 2 Tigers are. We don't know where the T-32 is. So we're going to hang out here a bit. All right, there's a Tiger, there's a TS5. Not great, right? We're holding our own. We've got 2 of them dead. There's another Tiger. Actually, that's the same Tiger. The 4502 is doing okay over there. They are taking on the STG. All right, let's talk about shot opportunities. Notice the T-150 just took a bunch of shots right there. That is an opportunity to pop out and take a shot at the Tiger. There is another tank down here. It turns out it's the T-25-2, and you might expect there would be a sniper on this position, but I saw multiple shots come in. So I'm betting most of the stuff that's down there has now shot at the T-150, and I have a slight opportunity to get out there and take a shot on the guy that is seen, which is the Tiger. So look for those opportunities to pop out and take some hit points off someone. So we back up, hang out behind this building. He takes another big hit from the Scorpion. Now he is killed. All right, he just shot. So here's another discussion point. What do I do with that? I know the Tiger shot. I'm pretty sure there's at least another guy or 2 there. But I have an opportunity to shut down a Tier 7 heavy and trade a few hit points to do that. So because the Tiger has shot, I would take a chance right here, get out there and kill that Tiger. And I would also dab 2 and get some APCR going on, so I'm going to need a little bit more pen against the front of the heavy right there. So we're thinking about it. You shoot there, now we go. Alright, nice. So good news is you are thinking about it. Down goes the 150. And we got a lot of firepower right here at this point. There was an option at some point, probably not now, before this, for the both of us to head to the east side and try to push with the east. This map, you have a pretty good capability to come back down to the southeast of the map and take on guys who are trying to. I'm sorry, this is not the standard. I'm getting going. I'm losing it, fellas. I'm losing it. It's an encounter, so the cap's in the middle. So that being said, let me reverse that just a little bit. It is kind of difficult to come back to the cap on this map from one of the flanks over on the east side. Not impossible. There's plenty of cover, but it's not as easy right there. So that being said, we could have flowed around to where our power is over there and helped them out. As you can see, we're sort of spread across the map. The enemy team is as well, but they've brought all their heavy hitters over here. All right, a little bit better aiming on that one, I think, would have been very helpful. He wasn't pointed at you. I realize there's other tanks you're worried about, like the TS5 or maybe even the T-32 right there. But if you'd have looked for the front edge of that front wheel, that sprocket, you probably would have got a shot. And I think you're going to eat a shot from the T-32 right here. Yep. And we get lit on fire, which is not great. Decently quick with the fire extinguisher. Nice. We got the manual one right there. Looking for shots to CDC, Morts. We may get another shot here. All right, same thing on that one, man. I'm going to back this up. Let's take a look at it. We'll watch as this thing happens. Shot selection and the way you take the shots are really important. And with casemate TDs, there's a technique or tactic here that works very well. All right, CDC's going in. You notice that. That's great. You pop out. You're like, oh, I can see the marker moving. It's going from left to right. So here it comes. CDC's doing a runner. He's going to die in your way, maybe. Okay, right here. Look for, I don't know, you don't have him auto aim, no. You're sort of pointing right at him. If I see that marker moving and I know there's a building here, I'm going to move it out and try to find him as soon as possible. And that shot is going to go right there. Okay, that's that front wheel. Generally, most TDs and tanks, there's a hitbox, especially at this angle. There are some tanks that have really weird forward sections, say a Churchill or that new Nurgle thing, where you don't want to really shoot there. You might go for a track with that, but you're probably not going to get a hitbox. That's also lighter armor generally on the side, and he's not really very well angled right now. So that's the place right there, and that will track him. If he burns a repair kit, great. At least he doesn't have that for the next 60 or 90 seconds, whatever it is, depending on which one he's got, plus or minus with the new skills, etc., etc. And if he gets tracked and doesn't fix it, and there's nobody threatening you, then you're going to get another shot on this guy. Another thing to think about, this T-32 is popping around this corner at you. If you backed up to back here, then he doesn't have that angle anymore. So this game is all about working angles, especially in these city battles. Then he can't pop around and shoot you right here. Your natural inclination is going to take the shot and go straight back. Well, he can pop around and shoot you again. If you're back here, then he can't get a shot because this building is covered. And then you can back up this way, kind of at an angle. The only issue with that, of course, is now you're uncovered from Arty, so maybe if that little 13F3 is looking at you, he might be able to hit you there. So there's a lot of things going on. But you could probably isolate yourself from that T-32 a little better, although he's not really doing anything. We just take a hasty shot. If you're in position and you're the guy that he's going to come around the corner on, take that opportunity. All right, the WZ, this is a tough one. He did back up, and I think now he's coming back forward. You did have a slight opportunity to maybe take a shot at the TS5, but let's see. Yeah, good idea not to, because you can see that the WZ was starting to peek at you right there. He expected you to come back around that corner. All right, and really, at this point, we're just hanging out. We're trying to get as much damage as we can. To be honest, this game is not completely out of hand. It's not going great. 4502 is coming back around. Unfortunately, there's something back there, and I can't get a shot on him. And I thought for a moment we might bring this thing back. I might have taken a hasty shot there. Let's talk about number 2 usage on mediums. I would absolutely have dabbed 2 at this point in the game, because this is kind of nut cutter time. We got to get some kills out of this, and I would like to increase my penetration with the medium here and see if I can't get some shots. That's unfortunate. He was behind something dead right there. Okay, that guy dies to the Scorpion. That's nice. I like this. You've done this a couple times, and I like this right here. I would have done it a little sooner. I like how you zoomed out and you're like, all right, where are all these dudes pointing? And sometimes it's hard to do with the stupid buildings because, you know, the camera will... I got high enough that it doesn't matter now, but... Yeah, it's wonky. Anyway, you can see where each guy's pointing. This is hugely important with casemates because depending on how far away they are in terms of pointing at you, it may take them a very long time to spin around and get a shot at you. So that may give you opportunities. The problem is they're sort of in-depth defense here, right? You've got the TS5s looking at you anyway. The WZ's kind of pointing in your direction. You've got a turreted tank over here, although he's worried about me at the moment. So lots of options. And I thought we might start to get a comeback going on here. We got the 4502. He's flowed back. We got a bit heavy hitter RHM, and we got a heavy hitter Scorpion, although Scorpion's kind of pinned right now. So I like this. You're taking a look. Getting a little higher there. All right, something to think about, and this is one of those tanks, one of those TDs that has that kind of weird front wheel. You could side scrape out here and maybe get a shot on his wheel without him having a great shot on you. We're also at the point where I may need to sacrifice a few hit points to get something going on against these guys because they're really starting to push us in here. So you might just go, you know what, I'm going to come around, take a nicely aimed shot and see if I can get... Granted, it's 170 or whatever your alpha is, and you're going to eat a 400 hit point shot back, but reduce a few of his hit points there, keep him busy. WZ pushes in. Just again, another hasty shot, man. Yeah, if you'd have waited a little bit, I think you could have got him out into the back. The other option there, man, is to... You got to watch this guy because he's coming at you, but you could have side scraped out to get a little better shot at this guy. But here comes the TS5. He's just pushing you now. Actually, he just decided not to. Yeah, that was a decent shot. Just didn't get into the armor. All right, and at this point, you got to make something happen, right? We've got these dudes are just pushing me. I've got the Scorpion right there. One option would be to push past the TS5 and try to get to the side of the T32. Probably get hit by the TS5, and then this guy's reload will be done. But I say that rather than just sitting there and waiting for the inevitable. This actually was me coaching you a bit. I said, hey, back out of that, right? And you know what? If the T25/2 hits you or whatever is down there, we don't know he's down there yet. He hasn't been lit, but we will here momentarily. Then so be it. Just looking for another shot. And that's just unfortunate. A second fire. I think we actually have a kit, though, yeah? There we go. All right. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I would have inspected that shot. That's just one of those get one more shot kind of things. Or just push into the WZ. He probably would have killed us. So either shoot that guy or push the WZ. We sort of kind of take a tweener here. Looks like we're trying to get away. And yeah, and he's going to reload right there. So I think pushing the WZ wouldn't help very much. That being said, sometimes a good defense or a good offense is the best defense, at least in this case. Maybe he misses, maybe he bounces, maybe only tracks you and you fix it. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities right there. But this was, you know, this game just went south pretty quick. Largely based on my bad decision making and honestly just not noticing that they had two armored TDs. That would have informed a better decision by me at the very beginning of, you know what, all right. And then especially pay attention to the 4502. If the 4502 didn't go over there and I had noticed, which he didn't, and I had noticed, which I didn't notice, them having two armored TDs, I wouldn't have gone there. I'd have gone with the 4502. We'll just cap our lot with that, and hopefully we do all right. Could you find the two heavily armored TDs over on the 890 line? Yes, of course you could. But at least it would have been strength with strength, and I would have ignored, at least for the moment, the slower TDs. The other thing about that is it did take them a while to sort of figure out that there was nobody there over by the cap. And so with a couple extra mediums and aggressive players, we might have been able to wrap up the east side faster and given us more options to either come around behind them or to push more power back. As it was, you and I were just very defensive for a lot of the game, doing nothing more or less. We were able to do some decent damage to their push, but alas, not quite enough to win. So there's a lot going on there. You know, even talked about it yesterday that the losses may not be the best way to figure out how to play better, but certainly, obviously, clearly, if you've got a bunch of mistakes and losses, you can learn a lot from those. in there as well. So that's all I've got for this today. You guys, whatever else you got down there for me or for Eric, let me know down below. What would you have done in this case? Where would you have gone with your mediums? Number one. Number two, if you found yourself in our position, what would you have done different? The same, different, whatever. All right, that is all I've got. You guys have a great one. See ya.